Welcome back to another episode of New Patients Now podcast. I'm Flint, your host, as always, and really excited to have on two special guests with me today talking about what it is that we get to talk about all the time, which is new patients right now, how to get them, what's going on in offices, live action. So excited to have on Dr. Meyer and her office manager, Shannon, who are just doing an incredible job in a really short period of time, just since October, really elevating that focus and intention around that new patient statistic in the practice. And so they're going to share a little bit about their process and what's going on in the office, maybe some things that you can take and plug into your practice, maybe some mistakes, who knows? I haven't prepared them too much, so excited to see where this goes. So Dr. Myers, Shannon, thanks so much for joining me today.
Awesome, Flint. Thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. No, the pleasure's all mine. So maybe if both of you could just do a brief intro, who you are, where you're from, what got you into this crazy world of dentistry.
Yeah, so I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. My practice is in Cary, North Carolina, so right outside of Raleigh, but I was born and raised here. I went to UNC for dental school, so go Tar Heels. But I graduated in 2019. Prior to dental school, I was a dental assistant for a practice in Cary. And I ended up going back to that practice and working as an associate before I purchased it in 2021. It was never kind of the plan to do that, but it did all kind of work out that way. So I've played many roles in this practice, from the front desk to the assistant and now the doctor and the owner. And I think that's given me a unique perspective as an owner, having been in those roles. And I actually met Shannon when I was working front desk at this practice. And she left for a little while, and I'll let her tell her story, but she joined me when I purchased the practice.
So we have a really good story. I was originally a dental assistant and then kind of went into this role as practice manager. But we met back in 2012, and she was going to go to dental school, and I think it was your third try.
Yep. Yep.
So I was like, okay, if you get in, like, we're going to be a thing in the future. And it just happened that way. So she called me up and basically asked if I was looking, and it was the right time for me. And so that's how we came together.
Yep. And so June will make 5 years of our duo. And we've seen lots of growth, lots of good things happening. But I would say in 2025, felt like I had, I don't know how to say it, but I felt like I had taught all that I knew how to teach in motivating my team, or figuring out, how to level up, or how I just didn't know how to get to that next level. And you don't know what you don't know. So I was introduced to the Practice Growth Institute, and through some friends, and I'm just so excited to be here. It's been a great experience, and we're really embracing this, and it's been fun to watch and be a part of. Yeah.
Very cool. That's a super unique story. So I did not know that. And okay, so you literally had most of the jobs other than hygienists, it sounds like, pretty much in the practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And now I can be like that hygiene role too. So some days we're the hygienist too. No, I'm just kidding.
You get to pop over there too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's awesome. So you guys were both working in the practice in different capacities a number of years ago, and then have been at it now with you as the owner of the practice for almost 5 years. So that's great. I like how you said, and we said, if you get in this time, we'll go for it, right?
Yeah.
Like, hopefully some more confidence today than we did then.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So, and you said something that I think is so important for anybody listening, right? That, you don't know what you don't know, right? That kind of realization that, hey, all the things that I could point to and say, hey, this is how you should do it because it's how I have done it and how I maybe saw it work. What was that process like, going from new owner, kind of, existing practice, so not totally bootstrapping, but take me back to that transition. So from being somebody in the practice to somebody who's now actually running the thing.
Yeah, it was a huge step. I had a baby 2 weeks before I bought the practice, and I don't think I would recommend doing that at the same time. But due to COVID and how everything kind of worked out, that's kind of how it landed. But it was a big transition as for any. The previous practice owner had not taken new patients in a long time. And so it was definitely, and we had an older population of patient base, wonderful patients, but we definitely I knew that we had to get some growth in there and introduce some more modern dentistry and life into the practice. And so we both kind of hit the ground running with ideas of what we're seeing with other offices, or we had to start at step one with even getting a website for the practice, which we didn't have, or um, the previous owner didn't have websites and things like that. So we really started from the ground up and put all into it. I feel like
Yeah,
we've come a long way. We started with 3 Google reviews, and now I think we're at 430. And
it's
so that
awesome.
was kind of, I knew the basics. Like you got to get good reviews, you got to ask for, you know, patients to help refer other patients. But then I kind of ran out of more ideas because I'm more clinical for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think we actually had 16 reviews. So
Oh,
She's like, no.
wait a minute. Yeah.
I came from a previous very busy office. So we did all of the things. And so when I first came, I was like, let's get going with our reviews. And so we had a little bit of pushback from some people that were here and not used to the change.
Hmm.
But I definitely knew we could level up.
Hmm.
And also getting the new patients was key to get fresh people here.
Hmm.
And once we started asking, the patients are so nice and kind.
Hmm.
They really delivered. And so even now, we've had some of these same patients for years, and they have so many great things to say about Dr.
Yeah.
Myers and the whole team.
Yeah. And I think for a while I made excuses for like why we weren't getting new patients in the door. Oh, well, it's the economy, or we're fee for service. We're just not going to get that many new patients.
Mm.
Or excuses like, I'm in a saturated area. And so I felt like I kind of was lying to myself now, seeing, the potential after coaching that I was telling myself those things, and those aren't necessarily true.
You
So
told me that when you went to the first meeting,
yeah,
that I would be validated for all the feelings that I
yes,
had.
she's always told me that, and I'm like, oh, you sound like Shannon.
Oh, that's great. So okay,
Exactly.
so all right. So you said I think you'd be validated. So what? So Shannon, it sounds like you'd been saying like, wait, no, maybe we can do more. There is more here, right? So what was it about that? I mean, obviously the two of you being on the same page is super important through this,
Mhm.
but I think it's an important lesson in you can't create that experience for somebody else, right? Like I
Mhm.
think, and whether it's doctor to office manager or the other way around, right? Because we see this happen all the time. It's like one person is like, well, I think maybe we could do this, and for some reason or another, the other doesn't see it that way. So I think it's great that you guys are able to work through that. So remind me, how did you guys originally get introduced to us? So you started back in October, but what
Hmm.
was that process? Were you kind of like on the lookout? You're like, hey, I know I need to change something. I need to go out there and see what's in the world.
Yeah, I felt like 2025 started off pretty stagnant, maybe even a little bit down in as far as numbers and things that we were looking at. And I said, well, I've taught, I don't know what else to do. So I feel like I need a coach at this point. And so I started asking around with friends and people that have done coaching, all that kind of stuff. And we're big into the AACA. And Meenal Patel is a very good friend of mine
Yeah.
who had had a really good experience with you all. And most importantly, she said her team loved it. And that was big for me to not bring someone in that the team was going to be super scared of or intimidated by and completely uproot this place. And so with her positive feedback, that kind of introduced me. And we were in Las Vegas. The whole team was there for the AACA convention. And that was when I spoke with you guys and Ashley, and it was the rest is
Yeah.
history.
Okay, nice. So you guys were at the event back in out in Vegas in July. So that was
Mhm,
kind of the first
mhm,
experience, and
mhm.
then got started in October.
Yeah, I came out to Atlanta, I think in August or September.
Oh, long.
Or
Okay, yeah,
yeah, and then we booked our first team training in October.
awesome.
But even prior to the first team training, Shannon and Courtney, the other one that works up front, started the videos. So they kind of
Nice.
knew
Got a
they
little
were
head start.
ready.
Yeah,
They were excited, and
love it.
so they were ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, awesome. So, and I think it's important, right, that that combination of, because you're talking about, having that realization that you wanted some coaching for yourself in running the business and taking it to the next step, but there's that team component that's so important, right?
Oh yeah. They're
And making
everything.
sure they're on the same page as you. We're all kind of going in the same direction. I know
Mhm.
we talk about engagement a lot. It's like the doctor's engagement, the team's engagement, making sure we're at least in the same window of a few spots, because there's all kinds of interesting things that can happen if that is not there. Um, so when you started, so first training was in October.
Mhm.
Roughly, how many team members did you guys have around, like, total on the team?
Total on the team, we have six. Two, two, two. So, well, one front desk, one office manager, two hygienists, and two assistants.
Awesome. And same today as it was in October? Same
Same
team?
today. So
Awesome.
far.
So far, right? Well, it's good. Well, it's funny, right? People always are like, well, what happens after I train my people, right? Like, what if, whatever. So, all right. So, had that first training in October. And what was that day like? So, Shannon, obviously, you're already looking at the videos. You're, checking things out beforehand. You have an idea what's coming. Except the videos were me, and the person who walked in probably didn't look like me. Uh,
No.
what was that first training day like? Because had you done anything like that before, where somebody came in, spent a whole day not talking about clinical stuff?
Um, no, I guess not really. It has mostly been focused on clinical. I thought it was great because we had talked about different things that we wanted to bring to the practice, but sometimes when you just do it from what we're saying, it makes it a little bit difficult on the team. But Sarah really talked it up and said this is going to be something beneficial for the whole team. You're really going to love it. And it's going to give us a pathway on,
Mm,
how to help our patients more and how to get new patients. So I think when you just have ideas and you bring it to the team, that's a little difficult for them to digest.
Mhm.
But when the trainer came in, Jessica, she was great. She had a lot of good tips for us. And everyone seemed to really like her.
Mhm.
The vibe was really good. It was fun. And everything that she mentioned, everyone was trying to like put it into practice the very next day.
Mhm.
So
love
I
that.
could tell that everyone thought it was a positive experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I think it's super important, right? You mentioned the setup, right? So for Dr. Myers and really anybody who's thinking about training their team, I see it done really well. I see it done very poorly. And the setup a lot of times is really overlooked, right? So that taking that moment to be like, hey, this is going to be good for us. This is an investment in you. This is not I'm not bringing this person in to tell you about how you're doing things wrong, right? That's not the point. And I think people become more open to it in those instances than maybe if it's just, all right, we're going to do a training. I'll see you there on Friday,
Yeah.
which, believe it or not, is how that gets set up sometimes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, So first training in October, um, roughly like how many new patients per month were you guys bringing in before then? So like back half of
I
last year.
I would say like before the training, we were averaging maybe 11, 12
Yeah.
new patients,
Mhm.
which was up from like 4 from the prior years.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, 11, 12 new.
Okay, so 11 or 12.
Hmm.
And I know in the last couple months, when you guys won Beat the Baseline, you guys did 42, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, in
Yeah.
comparison to that, but what was that like, right? So people always ask, well, when I do training, like, number one, is it really going to work or whatever? But then you hear something like 11 to 42, and it almost becomes a little unbelievable, to be honest.
Right.
Like if we were to go back to last July and we were sitting in Las Vegas, like, did you guys go to my talk in Vegas last year?
Uh-huh. Oh
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So if I had stood up there and said, you, how many new patients are you seeing today? You're like 11. And I said, great. By this time next year, you're going to have a month where you hit 42. Is there any chance in the world you would believe me?
No, I would be like,
Not at all.
okay, maybe if we spend $20,000 more in marketing or
Yeah.
whatever, yeah, I
Yeah.
would. There's a catch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like probably wouldn't buy that, right?
No.
And you bring up an interesting point. So when you were doing 11 new patients a month, how much more are you guys spending on marketing today than you were then?
$0. I have not
0.
changed a thing with the marketing.
That's
No.
And
fantastic.
intentionally to see, like, yeah, no, I have not upped anything with marketing.
That's
If
awesome.
anything, maybe a little less because I was doing like some Facebook ads and stuff on my own, separate from our
Mm,
SEO company. And so, yeah, maybe even less.
Mhm.
wow. That's awesome. So what was that like? Like how did that progress? So I know we've gotten up to the 42. So if you did the training in October, what were those first couple of months like going into the end of the year? Was it quick traction or was it slow? What was that like for you guys?
I felt like every month we were gaining,
It was
and
pretty quick.
it was exciting and kind of energizing to see that, like, when we were putting in the effort and changing things, and um, it was working. And so when you start, just like if you're losing weight or something, you start to get a little bit off, you get excited and you're more motivated to keep pushing.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's been like. It's been really energizing.
Yeah, the very first month, we went over the baseline.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole team was like, "Oh my goodness," they
That's
could not
awesome.
believe it.
Yeah.
So I think that got everybody excited. And then you don't really know what's happening for the next training, at least
Mm,
they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, "Oh my goodness, what's coming next?" So
Mm-hmm.
that was
yeah,
fun too.
that's
Yeah.
great, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
then you see that little, and I think it's funny the weight on the scale is actually a really good I think example because part of that training is just elevating the intention and visibility of that statistic, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just, hey, we're all in the new patient business together, and we're going to look at it every day, right? It's like, well, I know if I played football in college. I was a big guy. Like I know what it takes for me to get the scale going where I want it to go, and usually it does not include not looking at it for a long time.
Right.
So that number sometimes gets a little bit hidden too. But I love that
Mm-hmm.
you said the team was looking forward to the next thing. So we saw some momentum, and that has continued. Um, so first training in October, working on new patients. Um, you guys just had a training, but that was probably what your third.
Third
That's our
one.
third,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So second one would have been the new patient experience. So how was that second training?
That was really good.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a fun one, to get new ideas to implement, and just making sure we're all on the same page, giving those patients the same experience. And it was kind of those systems that I knew I wanted to put in place, but one, I didn't know how, and I didn't know the best ways to do it, and make it the most palatable for the team to do it consistently. And so it just brought everything together from, okay, well, we're getting these new patients in the door. What are we going to do with them? How are we going to treat them so that
Mm,
A, they come back or refer friends? And so it was a very good transition from one training to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, love that. Because I think a lot of people hearing this will say, okay, you went from 11 new patients to 42 new patients in a span of like 5 months. The service has to be worse than it was before.
Mm-mm.
So, like, not because I'm asking you, not because I'm biased, but like genuinely, how would you describe, or maybe how do the patients describe to you the experience you guys are providing now compared to maybe like last September, right before all this started?
I would say like we can see the result of the quality um in the quality of the Google reviews we've been getting after the training. So
Mm,
just like they're so focused on each person is excellent, and they're so focused on our patient care. And so we can kind of get feedback on how we're doing with those Google reviews versus just leaving 5 stars and not leaving any notes about it.
mm,
So I think that less service is a false narrative for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like the patients just feel seen,
Mm-hmm.
new patients coming in from the first experience of me and Courtney up front, saying
Mm-hmm.
hello and greeting them. And then, the tour that they get, it just seems really focused. Like
Mm-hmm.
they get a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
And it's not just, okay, I'm here for my dental cleaning. So I
right.
think we've made it a little bit more patient focused, and it does feel like 5 stars,
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can say. Like,
I'll
that's what
bet.
it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, it feels simple, right? It's like make
Right.
someone feel like you have prepared for their arrival.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, it's just like there's that disconnect, right? And when you get to feel that, it does make a big difference. So I love that that's showing in how they're describing the experience for you guys. Do you know, like, and I'm just going to use the 42 new patient month because it's the most recent one that I'm aware of. Do you know what percentage of those are coming from patient referrals? Like, how has the patient referral number been impacted?
Every month, it's mostly been referrals in-house from
That's awesome.
patients every single month.
Mm-hmm.
We
I
do
mean, isn't
get
that
Google searches, but I believe that last month it was maybe 12 that were from Google searches, and the
mhm.
rest were from in-house
That is
referrals.
fantastic. So last month, how many total new patients did you have?
That was the
That
The
42.
was the
40,
42. Okay, so
yeah,
30 of the 42 were from
I
patient
think,
referrals.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
around that.
To me, that's what gets me super excited, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, not too long ago, we're sitting at 11, and now you have
Mm-hmm.
3 times that just in patients sending you more people. Like,
Right.
that's fun. It has to be fun for you guys to see that and just be like, the patients are giving you all the validation you need for the work that you're doing and the things that you guys have been willing to do things maybe a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which isn't as easy as a lot of people want to make it seem, right? I'm sure it hasn't been all butterflies and rainbows for you guys. Like what's been the most challenging piece of that?
Ooh, for me, it's been noticing like where I'm the bottleneck. And I'm totally the bottleneck in a lot of our issues and systems.
No.
And so like just recognizing where I'm holding things back or what things I need to change, and just constantly trying to keep an open mind. Because the reason that these things are recommended by you guys is because you've done it, you've tested it. I'm not the expert at this, and we all want to control every part of our practice. And I've had to like really tell myself like, just go with the advice. This is what the coaches are for. This is what they're good at. And it works. So
Yes, it
yeah.
does work. The new patient calls, that was
Intimidating at
a
first.
little bit.
Yeah.
I love the flow, and I love how quickly,
Hmm.
we can
Are
get
you
off
talking
the
about like the
phone.
accountability of the certification calls?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were
Uh,
so nervous the first week or two.
Well, Courtney and I just want to get it right.
Yeah.
We want to make
Yeah.
her proud. So,
Oh.
and we want it to work well, but
Hmm.
it's good. It definitely holds you accountable. So it's a great
Yeah.
thing. I love that they do it.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think it's accountability. It's so funny. if you really think about it, it's like the first thing we come in and do is make people listen to their phone voice, which no one likes. So it's like,
Oh,
hey, we're
that's
excited
terrible.
to get going with you guys. Let's listen to each other's phone voices that
Yeah,
no one likes to listen to.
yeah.
So no, that's awesome. Okay, so accountability has been an important piece of it. You guys are obviously taking this stuff and just leaning into it, which I think is
Mhm.
fantastic. And obviously, you're seeing the fruits of that. So I look forward to seeing what that becomes. As I mean, gosh, you're not even a year in, and so where this
Mhm.
Yeah.
can go will be pretty fun. Um, what I mean, if anything, it sounds like you've had a pretty smooth implementation as far as the trainings go. But was there anything in the training where, or any of the trainings where somebody was, you know, hey, Dr. Myers, are we really going to do this? Like, is this, or are we just going to nod and smile while this person's here and then and then move on?
A little bit. I don't know too much. Because I feel like if I had done this with a different team, that wasn't so open-minded or, you know, a little bit more, they like things their way, it would have been a lot harder, or I would have gotten a lot of that pushback. But
Mm,
for me, I've been so lucky to have a team that's been so open-minded, and that's been willing to try things. And they know, we try things and if they work, they work, and we're going to keep doing
yeah,
it. If we try things and we fail, obviously we're going to revisit things.
Yeah.
So I think they know that I'm not going to like, I don't know, slap them on the hand if it's always not done perfectly. But
right.
I I could speak for the team. I don't know. I would say it's probably the new patient interview.
mhm.
Mm,
Because they're not used to
yeah,
that. They definitely talk to the patients and get to know them, but
Mhm.
we definitely don't spend that much time,
I like a
um,
structure.
yeah, doing
Yeah.
hmm,
the FORE and
yeah,
the
yeah.
things. So if if I had to guess, it would be that, but they all did it and they all
It's great.
participated the very next day with
Mhm.
implementation day, and
Mhm.
it went really well and everybody tried, and I think in time
Yeah.
there it's gonna be normal.
Yeah.
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 And I think that's the way with all of it, right? So I think you guys have the right mindset on it. It's and I like the word test a little bit more than try, but that's a personal thing, right? So it's I love it. Like you test it out, see if it works. If it does, we keep rolling, right? And
Mhm.
I think that's great because every time I know, or at least I hope, when the trainers are coming in, they're saying, "Hey, test it doing this way for 90
Mhm.
days, and let's see what happens."
Right.
Right? That's all we ask every time we come in, and so you guys are leaning into that, and that's great. Um, okay, so what's next? So we're not halfway through the year, but crazily we're getting close to halfway through the year. We're
I
a
know.
third of the way through the year. So how is 2026 looking compared to 2025? What exciting things are coming up for you guys?
We have a lot of exciting things coming up. I feel like those new patient numbers have kind of motivated us to look into other things to do in our community and to get involved in our community. We're going to have a
Hmm.
free dental day next week in honor of my late mom. And so we're doing all kinds of just cool things to help keep us in the community, but also keep us excited about the growth. We've seen a lot of growth in the last year. So we also want to take time to celebrate that, do some more team outings, make sure that we're like also appreciating where we've come from and
Hmm.
acknowledging it, and so that we can keep going. I'm excited to see or to do some more training, even with like the clarity retreat and that sort
Hmm.
of thing, to kind of get some more clarity, for lack of a better word, on where we're going and what next year looks like or what we want. So yeah.
Yeah, we have our training in August, I
Mm-hmm.
believe,
Hmm.
and Morgan was telling us that that one will be, I think, more specific and making sure that we're implementing everything. So I'm excited about that because we have time
Hmm.
to work on,
Hmm.
everything between now and then and get better.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's exciting. I love
Mhm.
that you're turning the success or results into positive things for other people. So I
Yeah.
think and that maybe that comes natural to you. I don't know, but like just from my perspective, I think that's super cool, and I love seeing that from people like you guys. So that's awesome, and that probably means you're gonna keep seeing good things happen because you're not turning it into the me
Yeah.
show. You know,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Very cool. Well, any final words of advice for either somebody who's maybe only a few years into practice, right? Because still, I mean, 5 years in, right, in the grand scheme of owning a dental practice, right, we're still in the early years of this. So any advice for somebody who maybe is in those first few years, is trying to figure it out, things you wish you had known?
Yeah, I would just say don't try to figure it out. I mean, I was there trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure it out, but it's so nice to have a sort of a map or a something to follow, which is kind of what you guys give us when we're going through this, because we know the dentistry, we know a little bit about leadership and working with people, but um, trying to reinvent the wheel and doing these sort of things that have already been done, um, it's just impossible with everything else that's going on in practice ownership. And so I just would recommend getting into coaching sooner than later and getting your team involved, because again, you cannot implement these things without your team, and getting them involved is where you're going to see the results. So
Yeah,
yeah.
love that. Shannon, anything you'd add to that?
I would recommend it. I love all of the training modules. I've been able to look at those on my own time and just start implementing certain things.
Hmm.
In my leadership role, it's helped so much, but like Sarah mentioned, it just takes so much off of us that we have a
Mhm.
path now and we know what we're doing, we know how to implement it, and now we can train, new hires that come on exactly what we need them to do. And
Mhm.
everyone is on the exact same page. And
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, hey, thank you both so much for jumping on with me today. Congratulations again. Keep up the great work. You guys are on a roll right now, so we just want to keep that momentum going. Um, thanks so much, and thanks for joining the show. We'll see you next
Thank
time.
Thank
you.
you.